So, what does it really mean to be a great academic writer these days? Especially when AI can pretty much write for you. That's the big challenge we're going to dig into. We're going to follow one student's journey through this really intense workshop to build what you could call the modern academics toolkit. And it completely changed how they think about writing, research, and even their own voice.
And this whole journey, it kicks off with a feeling I bet you know all too well, just being completely and totally overwhelmed. But that feeling, it turned into something really enriching, something memorable. This is the story of how that happened. It's kind of like a roadmap from academic fear to real confidence.
You know, any big academic challenge can feel like you're staring up at a giant mountain. So what was the very first step on that climb? Well, interestingly, it wasn't about writing at all. It was about realizing you don't have to climb that mountain alone. It was all about teamwork.
So, here they were, faced with organizing this huge national workshop. And they did something that was, frankly, brilliant. They took this tangled mess of tasks and broke it all down into clear, manageable jobs, spread across 7 different committees. It's a simple lesson, but it's a profound one. Great academic work isn't just about big ideas. It's about smart, collaborative organization.
Okay, so once they got all that organizational chaos under control, it was time to start forging the real tools of the trade. So let's get to the heart of the workshop, which really starts with a basic question. What even is academic writing anyway?
Think about it like this. On one side, you have creative writing. It's all about imagination, emotion. Its job is to make you feel something. But then, on the other side, you've got academic writing. And that's built with the precision of, gears and microscopes. Its whole purpose is to make you think. It's not about flowery language, it's about provable logic. And getting that distinction down, that's step 1.
Strong academic writing, the kind that people trust, really stands on 4 pillars. First, formality. Keep it professional, no contractions. Second, objectivity. It's all about the data, not your personal feelings. Third, clarity. Just be direct, no confusion. And finally, precision, using the exact right word every single time. These aren't just, friendly suggestions. They are the absolute bedrock of trustworthy scholarship.
So how do you actually structure all this? Well, there's a globally recognized blueprint for it, IMROD, and it has this beautifully logical flow. You start with an introduction to the problem. Then you explain your methods. After that, you present the results. No bias, just the facts. And finally, you have a discussion about what it all means. This framework is like a universal language for researchers everywhere.
All right, so we've got the traditional rules down, but now we step into what feels like a modern-day minefield, artificial intelligence. For any student today, this is the big dilemma, right? Is AI this revolutionary tool that can launch your research into the stratosphere? Or is it a dangerous trap that's just waiting to blow up your academic integrity?
Let's start with the good stuff, the opportunity. The key skill here is something called prompt engineering, but don't let the technical name scare you. It's not about coding or being a tech wizard. It's about learning how to have a really skilled, thoughtful conversation with the AI. Because at the end of the day, the quality of the answer you get depends entirely on the quality of the question you ask.
So, how do you have that skilled conversation? Well, there's a super practical method you can use called RTCC. You give the AI a role, like you are a skeptical historian. Then you give it a task. Summarize this article for me. Provide some context. This article is about the Industrial Revolution. And finally, set a constraint. Keep it under 100 words. See? This simple little framework turns a vague question into a super powerful command.
But, and this is a huge but, on the other side of that shiny coin is the dangerous trap. AI systems can hallucinate, and that's a seriously chilling term for when they just make stuff up. They can invent fake references, cite studies that don't even exist, and spit out data that looks legit but is completely fabricated. The #1 way to spot this? Check the sources, always. If a quick search can't find that paper or that quote, it probably doesn't exist.
And all of this brings us to what might be the most important rule of them all. You have to think of AI as your co-pilot. It can help you navigate, sure, but it should never be the pilot. Your goal is always to enhance your own thinking, not to replace it. The human, that's you, has to stay in charge, period.
So, once a student masters all these rules and really understands the tools, something pretty profound starts to happen. The whole journey shifts from just, following instructions to actually finding their own confident, scholarly voice. And this is where true ownership of their work really begins. You know, so many of us were taught to never use the word I in academic writing, right? Well, this workshop completely flips that old rule on its head. Using the authorial I, saying things like I argue or I propose, it's not arrogant. It's actually a sign of confidence. It's you taking intellectual responsibility for your work. You're owning it.
Now, of course, being confident has to be balanced with a little humility, and that's where a technique called hedging comes into play. Using cautious language like, it appears that, or the data may suggest, that's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of academic honesty. It shows that you recognize the limits of your own research, which, paradoxically, makes your argument even more credible.
So as we get to the end of this journey, it becomes crystal clear that this workshop was about so much more than just writing techniques. The ultimate takeaway was a complete transformation of mindset, a whole new way of thinking like a responsible, modern scholar.
In fact, the guiding theme for the whole experience was this one powerful idea: preserving the human in the human. It's a reminder that even in an age that's being totally reshaped by algorithms, true scholarship has to be anchored in the things that make us human: our unique insights, our creativity, and our commitment to integrity.
So what does this whole transformation actually look like in the end? Well, our student walked away not just with new skills like knowing IMRAD, but with a whole new mindset. They learned how to be a responsible partner with AI, how to be a better collaborator with their peers, and how to be a more confident, ethical scholar. In short, they became future-ready. And that leaves us with one final, and I think crucial question. And it's not just for students, it's for every single one of us. As these incredibly powerful new tools get woven more and more into our lives, we all have to ask ourselves, how will you preserve the human in what you do?